And thanks everyone for joining. Greatly appreciate you taking some time to get caught up with Action and our Sage solutions. For those of you that don't know Action well, haven't been introduced to us officially, we are a company of over 235 employees, more than 7,000 customers. We've got 20-ish employees in Canada and nearly 400 customers in Canada. We are one of the largest value-added resellers in North America, focusing on architectural engineering, construction, real estate, distribution, and the manufacturing industries. We have a couple of our own company-owned data centers where we service customers from as well. And very proud of the fact that we are chosen as a top workplace in North America. Our leadership team, I won't go through everyone, but just to share with you the key people. Scott Irwin is the CEO, Paul Bachran, our president, Barb McConnell is a CFO, and Craig is our CTO. As you know by now, I'm Dave Mullins. I am leading the Canadian operation and have been in the ERP business for over 40 years. So lots of ERP experience from developing my own ERP back in the 80s all the way through various ERP industries and ERP companies. And I joined Aktion Associates in October of 2024 and took over leadership of Canada in January of this year. We are, as you know, focused on Sage. Sage is our largest customer base in North America. Customers from Sage 100, 300, and of course Sage Intact, Sage Estimating Construction Management, and anything that Sage will offer the construction industry from a customer base perspective. We also have our own managed services, cloud services offerings, which I'll talk to you a little bit more because Jim is going to spend the majority of today talking to you about Sage solutions. So from a technology perspective, as I mentioned, we have a couple of data centers, over 1,000 customer workloads in those data centers. Traditional data center technologies where we have uninterrupted power, redundant solutions, lots of storage capabilities. We're monitoring it in real time, and we offer hosting services for pretty much all of the Sage on-premise and all of the ISV on-premise solutions that are available to you as well. So if you're interested in that, certainly we can help you. We are also very proud of our support operations team that we reference them as network operations, but our support team is made up of industry and application experts who carry committed response time and resolution times. We're at 3 levels. So if you contact our team within 48 hours, if we haven't solved the problem, we will escalate it to the next level. And that happens a couple of times until you get to an actual industry expert if it does take that to solve one of the challenges that you may be experiencing with the application. But we are committed to 48 hours with each tier. From a managed services perspective, we offer, as I mentioned, the hosting and the cloud services, lots of anti-spam, anti-phishing security capabilities. We also sell infrastructure, so if you're looking for servers and the like, we can help you with that. And we are a certified Microsoft 365 solution provider as well. So why Aktion? What's different about Aktion from all of the other resellers? We think the fact that we've been in this business for 45 years is one of the key differentiators. Certainly not many of our peers have that level of history. And throughout that history of 45 years, we have consistently ensured that our customers are offered all of the next generation solutions of the products that we provide. So as all of those technologies move forward, we also advance our capabilities of offering those technologies to our customer base. We have a very well-educated, certified workforce. We're committed to ensuring that our workforce is certified so that we can always deliver successful go-lives. We have, over the years, developed a number of lean processes, from lean implementation to lean support, even lean selling. Our commitment is to ensure that we're minimizing time to value for our customers when they make a technology investment. We've also invested heavily in some of our own intellectual property around data. We recognize that data is probably one of the biggest assets of an ERP for all of our customers. And in that light, we want to ensure that our customers have an easy way of migrating their data from a legacy application to one of these newer modern applications. As an example, we have data migration tools built out already for Sage 300 to Sage Intacct migrations, where we can provide a data readiness evaluation. We can actually extract the data out of the legacy solution, store that data in our data centers, and then facilitate the transfer of that data to the new solution. That data can include master files, open transaction files, all the way up through job cost data. And after the data is migrated, we can provide data validation tools, data validation services, and then that data is always accessible to you through the data center as well. Also related to data is data integration. Most of you probably have more than just your Sage ERP. And we have a tool set that allows or facilitates the integration of data between applications. What's key about our capabilities here is that customer portal is available where you can actually monitor the success of data integrations and address any challenges that might come up as data is being passed back and forth between applications. We've also invested heavily in a data analytics capabilities, so a common business intelligence tool set. We have the capability of pulling in multiple data sources. We've built out, as I'll show you in a second, a number of role-based dashboards that are pre-built specifically for industries, and in the example I'm about to show you, specifically for the construction industry. The other benefit of a BI solution is that we can actually separate the BI queries from the actual ERP workload so that there's no impact like there is with traditional reporting when you run a wide open report. Obviously, the key insight here is that BI is, as you'll recognize if you're not already using it, is helping you identify why things happened and what's next, as opposed to traditional reporting, which was more of a report of what has happened. So here's an example of a dashboard that we built out for specifically for the construction industry. I'll jump over to a demo environment here. I won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I just wanted to show you the capabilities of the application in real time as opposed to a slide. So as soon as that gets loaded, you'll see that I have the ability to hover over all of these dashboards. And then there's various graphs and reports and dashboards available to you as you scroll down, including cost variance by job. And you can scroll through all the various jobs, and then change management where you're tracking revisions to contracts. There's contracting billing reporting with retainage balances, et cetera. And as I said, you can hover over any of these and zoom in on actual data. So these are all pre-built specifically for the industries that we're selling the applications into. I'll finish off with the Aktion difference, which I think we're very proud of. Well, I shouldn't say we think, I know we're very proud of. And that is we love to serve our customers. We love to be a trusted technology advisor to our customers. We want to make sure, as I said earlier, that you have access to the best technology available, and not just technology for technology's sake, but but practical technologies. And we're committed to and have proven over the 45 years that we're committed to long-term customer partnerships and architecting modern technology solutions for those customers. Before I hand things over to Jim, I just wanted to give you an idea of some upcoming events. So we've got some additional webinars just in 2 days, Sage Construction Management. Hopefully you've received information on these webinars, and if you're interested in joining, just register. Got a Timber Scan for Sage 300 webinar coming up on June 25th, and an Action Analytics where they'll go into more detail of what I just shared with you on July 17th. Also, if you're interested in or thinking of attending the 2025 Sage TUG Users Conference, we have shared with you a promo code, Action 100, AKT 100, to save an additional $100 off your registration fee. And I will highlight to you that early bird registration ends tomorrow on June 11th. So if you're interested in attending, maybe you want to jump on that right away and take advantage of the $100 promo for Action customers. We'd love to be able to help you. You will have access to all of this, and you'll see in all of our emails as well that you can reach out to us anytime in various ways through our website, through phone number, or direct emails to the contacts that you have at Action. So thanks for being our customers. We look forward to meeting you all more in person over the next while. And I'll hand things over to Jim to share what's new with Sage.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Now, before I just jump right into this, guys, I do want to pull this over. Okay, it goes up there. I want to just mention real quick, as Dave mentioned, the construction management, Sage Construction Management. Just to be clear on that, in case you haven't seen the information or anything, that is our project management piece that allows operations to communicate with the, the accounting side of things. So daily logs, photo logs, things like that from the field, and actually getting the benefit of each other's work. So it really is a nice product. Just in case you didn't know the difference there, that is the difference. And it may be something you want to send some people to in a couple of days. Alrighty, so my name is Jim Davis, and I've been doing this a little less time than Dave. I've been doing this for about 30 years now. Actually came out of school, went to work for my family's construction company. I thought I was going to run that, got my GC license, and about 6 months later, I ended up selling Sage software. So I've been doing this for pretty much my entire adult life. I have consulted, I have sold on pretty much every product Sage has, 100, 300, and intact, and even estimating. So I'm pretty well versed in this arena. As we go through this, when we get to the end, we will open it up for questions, any questions you might have, so that we can discuss anything you might want to ask me. And I'm going to rely on our team to make sure that I don't talk forever, because I do get excited about this product and I will talk for a long time. Is my screen being seen right now? Somebody on my side?
It is, yes.
Okay, great. All right, so one of the big things about Sage Intacct is this concept around dimensions. And Intacct is a truly dimensional product. And what a dimension is the way that we actually tag and catalog every single transaction in the program. And dimensions are everything from your entities or locations, departments, your customers, projects, and even cost codes. And when we tag these dimensions, it will follow that transaction throughout the system. And I'm talking all the way into the general ledger, so that we can report from any one of these directions and even do it in financial reporting, which I will show you in just a little while. Just to kind of give you maybe a screen view of this, if you look at this, this is an AP invoice that we have right here. And when you enter an AP invoice, you're telling it the vendor, you're telling it the company or the location, the department. And what happens is because this flows all the way into the general ledger, I can then break down the general ledger by any one of those things. And I can do it across the board. So in this little scenario here, they have the GL broken out by the different locations, but then they have the gross profit accounts broken down by departments. But then down here, they have a different expense account broken out by the vendors. This is really neat, and we can do that with projects and cost codes and everything. So I will actually show you how to do that before we're done today. Go ahead and close this. Alrighty, so Sage Intacct. When you log into Sage Intacct, you're gonna see information that's important to you. It can be a dashboard, it can be an entry screen. It's whatever's gonna make you more productive. And as you can see, just looking at this screen, we're talking about a web-based product with new UI. It's clean, it's nice to look at. You feel comfortable moving around in it. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit. I'm gonna come over here because those of you that are using other Sage products are gonna appreciate this. I'm just going to this home screen. It's kind of like a default dashboard where I can see things like I can jump into my help center or go into the different classes and things like that. But this is also where the release notes are. There are 4 major releases a year with Intacct. That is major releases. That means enhancements, not just a little fix. These are added feature sets that they are constantly putting into this program. It is never going to be a legacy program. And great thing about this, you don't have to do anything for those releases. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to put it on computers, reboot anything, have IT involved. You just come in the next day, it's done. About 2 weeks before a release comes out, you can actually go in and see the release notes. Now, I like to come in here for a couple of different reasons, just to show you that they do a really good job with these. They give you videos to watch and everything else. But I love to point out a couple of things. Well, you look right here, Copilot, Sage Copilot, AI powered. We are on the cutting edge of technology. We are not going to be left behind with this. Sage has had that in here for releases. You know, back to mid last year, we were having Copilot and AI powered things. So we are on the cutting edge of this information. You can come in here and watch all these different things. You can go in and see what we're doing around like the construction industry. We can track lien waivers and releases from secondary vendors, the vendors of your vendors. We are really taking this to another level compared to the products that you may have been using today, the 100s, the 300s. I'm going to come back out here, and sorry, this little thing pops up in front of me. I just got to move it. And we're going to come back out to the main screen here. Talk about a couple of things across the board, just about the UI and about how you move around in this program. So currently, I am at what is called the top level inside the system. The Intacct environment can be multi-entity. So that's different than what you might have in a 100 if you're a 100 user. You can have multiple companies in the products, and it can automatically handle due tos and due froms, all that intercompany transaction, automatically creating those transactions for you. The top level allows me to work across everything, every company, every department, everything I have out there. Below that level, I do have all my entities, and then I can have all my locations and the departments. But this gives me a central place to do all this work. Intacct is very proud about its userability. And when we look at that and talk about that, one of the things they do is right here. If I go into my user and I get into my preferences, this is where I can go in and update all the usual things you're used to updating, your phone numbers, things like that, your passwords. But if I scroll down a little bit farther, I can actually change the way the software presents itself to me. Starting with my dashboard or color schemes, order of my menu, how many records show up on different pages when I'm looking at them. How do I want the decimal point to work? Do I want type ahead suggestions? Do I want to use the enter key to move between fields instead of the tab key, which is, newer technology type stuff. Do I want to customize stuff? Do I want to enable a split view, which I'll explain to you in a second? There's all these different questions it's asking you. And when you come in and save this information, it's only for you. That means everybody else can be looking at a product that's the same product, but it looks different because ease of use is subjective. And Sage really took that into consideration. There is this little piece right here. This is collaboration. So inside the product, internally, you and your other users can talk about everything that's happening, all the different records, all the different transactions. You can actually communicate with each other about them. The help menu already allows us to have a nice co-pilot type situation, AI, where we can type in crazy questions and it'll think about it and figure out what we're trying to ask and give us solutions. Now, before we go into the product, I want to talk about security because it is roles-based security. And security in the system's super easy, guys. If we come in here and we look at this and I go down here to my company, I can go to my roles. You can have unlimited roles. So you can have roles that you give to lots of different people, or you could be real specific and have a user role for each person. And inside the role, we tell it what it's allowed to do. Which application can they get into? And then inside the application, as you can see, there's lots of checkboxes. So it's very detailed, but it's really straightforward. Here's AP bills. Can they see a list? Can they view them? Can they add one? So you can see how straightforward it is. Also, I like to point out one more thing here. If you come in here and you're on a roll, like let's just say this one here, if I go here and I go into the role, I can duplicate it. So if you want to get real specific to the user, you can set up a role, right? And then you can copy that role and change a few things on it so you don't have to check all those boxes again. The other side of this is the user. And I point this out for my multi-company people and my multi-divisional people. When we go into a user and set up a user, we tell it what role it has. And you can see, you can have multiple roles here. And we can erase roles. So if you need to give somebody a role part-time because maybe your CFO or your controller's leaving town for a couple of weeks and we need to give somebody some extra rights, well, you can give it to them and then take it away when they come back. But what I want to point out here is I can define which entities they get into and which departments they get into. And they will not be able to post anything unless they have access to those different entities, departments. So we can really secure this program for you. All righty. Now that we understand that, let's go back over here and look at the program. So here's my applications. I will only see the applications I've been given access to. And then inside the application, you see the tasks you've been given. And you can see these gold stars. These gold stars are my favorites. I can hover over anything and make it a favorite just by clicking it like that. That gives me a quick hit list of things I do all the time. Another thing, just to make it even more user-friendly, remember I said you could adjust the order of your menu? Well, I can right where I showed you, but I can even do it right here. The next time I come in, it'll be like that, but only for me. So I can do lots of things on the fly also. We also have end users that like more of a visual workflow. There you go. Sage has really taken all those things into consideration inside this product. Over here, we have a global search. This is a great feature. I no longer have to go to individual applications to find information. This can look across all of my companies, all types of transactions, all of my records from one place, that's search bar. In here, I could search for IDs like an invoice number, things like that. I could search for names, strings of text, or even dollar figures. If somebody called me and was asking me about something like a $3,000 invoice, I can come in and say, find me all the $3,000 invoices, and I can go out there and do it. And it's going to return those to me in a nice inquiry. Now, what's neat about this is depending on what I'm looking at here, I had mine showing up 10 per page, right? I could make it longer, or I can just go over here. But one of the things I want to point out is notice it found 30,000 because it finds parts of things too. I said 3,000 and there's 3,000 inside that 30,000, right? So it will find partial pieces of things also. when we find what we're looking for, unlike maybe those of you on Sage 300 that go into inquiry and go somewhere and then you kind of drill down a little bit farther to see a little bit more information, Intact, when I do that, it's going to take me to the source document. That means not another report, but I am in that invoice now. And from here, I can do everything. I can see things like the attachments, and these are true attachments, PDFs, Excel documents, Word documents. You can attach them inside the system. It's not a pointer. It literally makes a copy of it, sits it inside the system, and it will be part of your system from that day forward. I'm going to close that just so you can see more information here. I can see everything about the bill. I can see it was paid, what check paid it, when it was paid. And yes, if it had multiple checks to it, it would say multiple here, and then we could find out more. If I come down here, I can see how we charged it to the job. I can see that collaboration feature I have right here. By the way, I can even attach files and links in the collaboration if we want to. Coming back up, I can see the posting details, how it hit the GL. Were there any joint payees? What's the history? Who entered it? You're getting everything you need and more, because when we look in Intact and we see anything that is not in black and white, so black and white, green, it means I can get more information. So this guy's asking me about this, and we paid it 2 years ago. What's going on? Notice I'm not leaving the record. I'm just getting more information. So now I can see what bank account I paid it out of, everything else. Different color. Let's go further. Now I can see it never cleared our bank account. Well, let's go to void the checks. You know, think of the steps. You got to go out accounts payable, void checks, all that kind of stuff. No. Ease of use, void. What date do you want it voided as of? Reprint it. You're going to have access to your data when you need it, quickly and easily. That is a big part of Intact. Things that used to take you multiple steps might have taken you 10, 15, 20 minutes, now take you 2 minutes. And I want to be clear about this for everybody on the call here. When we're looking at this program, and I say it's full Windows based, it's full Windows based. I can do things like come up here and go, duplicate tab, take this tab, move it to another screen, whatever. So I'm looking at multiple things at the same time. I don't have to close out of something to go to something else. It is a full web-based program from the first line of code. So really big deal there. Let's go ahead and talk about those dashboards a little bit. I'm going to come in here, pull up a dashboard. First of all, dashboard's just a central location to review data. It could have job data and financial data or whatever it is you want, all at the same time. I can have links to fire me into other programs if you're using something like a Procore, or maybe I have my collaboration on here, or just anything I want on here I can have here. You can see that we can have charts and graphs. We can have reporting with conditional formatting, highlighting things that we may need to look at. KPIs, it's all here for us. And when we look at this and see this information, we can start filtering through it. Sage is date sensitive. And what I mean by date sensitive is it's not just periods, it's dates. And we don't archive information. It's always accessible to the end user. Meaning if you're on this program, let's say for 30 years, and you all of a sudden need to run a financial statement from 12 years, 3 months, and 2 days ago, it's a click of a button. You tell it the date and it'll tell you exactly where you were on that date. And it does the same thing with things like these job reports. I can come in here and just say, hey, show it to me as of, I don't know, April the 5th, 2023, and hit apply. And it's all going to change for me. And it's going to show it to me as of that date. I can go in there and say, remember, I'm at the top level. Hey, so this is all my companies. Well, just show it to me for this company. I can go down here and say, just show me that company. Or just show me this location within that company. I can do that. How about this company, but only these jobs? Like maybe just the hotels we've done. Great. As of that date, that company, these are the hotels, and this is exactly where I was. And it's quick and easy because of the way we store the data by dimensions. And you could do it like this. I could come in here and say, well, let's do it like all locations, but only show me things for maybe this project manager. There you go. But dimension works in multiple directions. So it's not just a sort of filter, it's everything. I go in here and say, show it to me for all jobs. We'll come back up here and put it in like 2025 as of that date and hit apply. And I have different reporting that's already set up that way. I scroll down here and I go down here, backlog reports, look down here and I'm looking at like project overviews and things by project manager, right? I can open these up and just say, okay, there it is by project manager now. There's each project manager and exactly where they were on that date. I get lots and lots of information in this system. But just like I told you earlier, and to remind you, I am looking at this report and it's not in black and white. Things like the total cost of this job. Great, click on it. Here's every transaction that made up that total cost. Right, there they are. Hey, wait a second, more color. Oh, wait, he's not even on this job. What is that? Guess where I am from the total cost of a job into an invoice in 2 clicks. And at this point, I go edit, put them on the right job. You're going to be much more productive around this program. And the same thing holds true with KPIs. I can drill down and keep drilling down, or charts and graphs, drill in, drill down further and further. You're going to get the data you need. And these are super easy to build. First of all, you're going to get a bunch of them, but you're going to be able to build these. If I went out here and I just, let's grab this one because there's only a few things on it. So how easy is it to add things to these? Well, you go right here, you hit the little plus key. It's going to say, what do you want? Well, I want to add applications. Do I want to add a calendar? What do I want to add? No, maybe a chart or a graph, or maybe another report. What kind of report? One of the financial reports or one of the other reports? Which one? Let's just grab this one here. And we want it to be live, and let's start it off collapsed. What's that one's called? Profit and loss detail financials. Okay, save. It's going to refresh. It's going to refresh the screen, and we're done. There's the profit and loss detail by vendor. You don't want it there. You want it over here. Great. Drag and drop it. You want it across the top? Good. Drag it up there and put it there. That's how hard these things are to build, guys. You will be able to build these. You will be able to make them the way you want for each user. It's not going to be a problem. You're not going to have a consultant every hour of every day trying to help you with these things. We're going to show you just like I did, and you're going to be able to do it yourselves. All right. So now that we're getting in here, let's go ahead and talk about why things are so great about this product. And it's given us new technology at Sage. It's given us the ability to do things that, frankly, we would have loved to have done in the past. We just couldn't, right? Old databases, old structures, old technology. So now we're in this newer environment. And when we go in and we talk about job costing in this environment, it opens things up. And if we come down here and we look at jobs, and I go over here and let's just go into setup and go to like our standard cost code catalog. Everybody's used to cost codes that they're using today. I don't care how you set them up. I don't care if it's 1 section, 2 sections, something dash something else. The numbering scheme is the important piece of it. It's the way it knows how to roll things together, group things together, and everything else. Although numbering schemes can look nice in the system, they're pretty, they'll make sense to you if you use the same numbers and things. We don't really need them. It's not that important to Intact. Cost codes, alphanumeric. You can look at this one and go, okay, well, I understand why that rolls up to there. But then here's one that doesn't even have a number. It's just called Jim. And it still rolls up to there. How? Because when we set up our system, it is a parent-child relationship. So that ID gem rolls up to this parent. That's all there is to it. So when I say the numbering schemes aren't as important for sorting, filtering, and all that kind of stuff, they aren't. I want to be clear on something around these, because a lot of people go, oh, wait, so I could actually call this concrete? Yeah, you could. The only thing that will hold us back from being able to do that for you is if you decide to use a third party, like a Procore. Procore has an incredible interface to Intact. If you use it, it's great. But Procore can't handle the same things we can handle. So we would have to scale back and make sure that they can communicate with us. The same thing holds true all the way over when we look at a job. We have the ability to do jobs and sub-jobs. We can go further. We could have grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So if you're a developer and you're doing things in phases, or if you're a GC and maybe you have multiple buildings and you want to track them separately and then be able to roll them up to a total job, or whatever reason that you may want to do a sub job as a change order inside that job, because we can bill it at each one of these levels. We could bill it them all at this level. We could cost them at this level, cost them at these levels. We have so much more flexibility inside this system. And when we look at a job, we open up a job and look at it, you're going to have lots and lots of information. You can see, remember when I sorted by, I only wanted to see job types of hotel? There it is. That's the field that did it. Right? What type of job it is? What was the beginning date, the end date? Is there a parent? Do I want to invoice it with the parent? I can have multiple statuses to a job. We can track information. We have full whip capabilities, which I'll show you because nobody else can do it. All of these, just so you guys know, Rich is a sales rep for us. These are custom fields. You remember how easy it was for me to create that dashboard and show you the dashboard? These are even easier, and you can put them anywhere in the system you want, and they're immediately reportable. We're going to be able to tell it what company it's for, what department it's for, who the project managers are, scopes, things like that. We're going to be able to see how much we spend in labor, material costs. You can have budgets, and I'm trying to say that with an S as best as I can. We can have multiple budgets, multiple estimates on a job. You can flip back and forth between them. Maybe you do one kind of preliminary and you realize, hey, wait, I really should have done it more like this. Great. Don't get rid of the first one. Copy it and add whatever you want to it so you can see, well, I did this, and see where the problems were. Compare them, contrast them. We can see all of the commitments from the job screen. Here's all my subcontracts, purchase orders on this job. I can see where they sit, right? But if I need more information, it's in a different color. So now I'm on the job screen and I'm opening up the subcontract. And from the subcontract, I have everything about the subcontract, right? What's been done so far? Are there any change orders to this? You know, what's the history? What's the history? Well, there was a subcontract. We've had one invoice. Oh, now I'm in the invoice, guys. Easy access to information from wherever you are. And I can see all my change orders for this job, the contract. I can see the schedule of values down here. I can come over here. I can see all the invoices we've sent out. You know, it's all here for me. We have complete capabilities in here. Now, those of you that are on 300, just so I can point something out to you, especially if you maybe made an investment in, you know, Timberline or Sage 300 project management because you wanted things like change requests, Sage smartened up. Don't worry about it. If you look inside this product, you're going to see that we have change requests and change orders as part of job cost. We have job contracts as part of job cost. So you do not have to have, you know, a contracts application, you know, a project management application for those types of features. You don't have to have them. They are in the system and very easy to use. And we're going to be able to generate those invoices, right? So you're going to be able to come in and say, I want to do an invoice out of the system. And tell it, I want to do a contract invoice. You could have multiple different templates you use. And this is the contract I want to do it on. And we want to go through this date. Now, this date may have more of an effect if you're doing something like a T&M billing, because obviously you want all those transactions through that date. But for this purpose, it's just going to print this on there. I can do filters and display options. But when I come in here, here is my worksheet to do like an AIA progress billing type system. So it's going to come up, it's going to say, here's your schedule of values. Here's everything on it. Here's the original price, revised totals, what we billed to date. And yeah, you can just come over here and say, well, now I'm 80% complete. Don't like doing it that way? You want to do it the other way? Great. I want to bill $2,000 on this line. Well, then you're 67% complete. We even gave you the ability to change the retainage while you're doing the bill. I could go in and say, bill this much of this line because there's this much being held already. And by the way, only do 5% going forward. You could do things like that on the fly because it's things that people have asked us for over the last 30 years. Sage has been doing this a long time. So they're trying to make those enhancements they weren't able to do in the past. And you're going to be able to come out here and you're going to be able to print those out. So if I come in here and I see those, let me just pull them up here. Here's like a progress bill. And so you can see this record and see what it's done. This is the record it created. I can see everything about it, you know, what we're billing, all good stuff here. And I can actually print or email this directly out of the system. And I'm going to have, you know, whatever document I want, 702, 703, fine. By the way, it's not the 702, 703, if that is what you use, because that'd be illegal. It's a copyrighted document, but it's remarkably similar. You're going to be able to do all that. And we don't do those documents and those forms like a subcontract or a purchase order. We don't do those with a report writer. You don't have to know Crystal reports. You don't have to be a computer genius. I promise you, I am not. But you're going to be able to do these and get whatever you want out of the system because what we use is something called printed doc templates. So what this looks like, and I'm just going to go to the one you just looked at. Here it is right here, template. Notice what it just downloaded as. It is a Microsoft Word document. Why is that important? Because everybody can use this program. And you go through, think about how easy it is to type paragraphs in Word and do columns and things like that. You see all these fields? Those are the fields off the record I just showed you. There's an add-in in Word that allows me to design this. Notice I didn't have to do a mail merge or anything when I printed it. This literally just be the report, but this is how we design it. You guys are going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to have the documents you want inside the system and do these the way you want to do them. Inside of Intact, we have started to build out this WIP management. This is huge. We can actually go in and do a full WIP. So we can go in and tell it what we want to do, but we're going to be able to create a WIP schedule. And I'm going to come in here, and there might be one here. Yeah, I'm going to delete this one that says unposted, just so you can see how it's created. I don't want to have 7,000 of them in here when I'm doing this. So I'm just going to delete that record. It'll take a second, and I'm going to show you what we do. You do not have to do this every single month. You do not have to do this every quarter or anything like that. You can choose. The way this works is you come right here and say, I want to do it. It will ask you for what period. Okay, so I could jump way up here and say, hey, do it as this period. I'm going to come back here and say this one. What it's doing right now is pulling in all the numbers. So we'll just let that do it. It's done. Now you can see a couple of errors here. It means I have to do more information. It'll actually tell me if I click on it, but you can see right there, that's the field it's missing. But as I look at this, here are the jobs. From here to here is actuals. What do I mean by actuals? This is my budget. This is my contract totals. Here is the job to date cost on the job. Here's how much we billed to date, and based on these numbers, this is the percent complete we are. Now, I have a PM section. where the PM can say, well, here's where the contract value is going to end up. Here's my cost to complete or cost at completion and percent complete. By the way, no, you do not have to answer each one of these. It will calculate the others. Great, now I really know kind of where I am. But here's the CFO section, because I don't trust this project manager as far as I can throw him. He's probably more like this percent complete. And guess what that does? Calculates my over under billing, a true over under WIP billing. And when I finalize this, it will post it to over under billing and auto reverse it out based on my directions. Project manager information can be imported. Excel, if you're using Sage CM, which we'll see on Thursday if you come back, it will actually create the report to populate that. Procore knows about this feature and they're writing to populate the project manager section. Now, if you're like me, I'm a GC, I'm looking at this going, this is incredible, but my guys do this at the cost code level. August release, it will be at the cost code level. They've shown it to me. So this is something that no other software can do in their accounting practice and push into the system. We have it. This is technology at its finest. Coming back out. And in case you guys can't hear it, I'm super excited about this product. We can come back in and look. Obviously, we're going to be able to do all of our retainage features, but we are also going to be able to do all of our compliance in the system. And you're going to be able to go through here and do your compliance. And even furthermore, we can have some automation in this system. We can have some approvals in this system. But when we come in and do things like pay our bills, and I come in and say, I want to pay my bills, notice I'm getting the compliance right here. He's got something out of whack. He's got something out. I can drill into it because it's in green, see what it is. You know, I never got his last lien release out of him. You know, whatever it is, I can have it. I can make these errors or warnings. We have those capabilities in the system. You're going to get great reporting out of this system too, guys. When we talk about reports inside the system, there's multiple ways we get those. So if I come up here and just go over here, you're going to see we have our interactive custom reports, our custom reports, and financial reports. I want to actually show you something in interactive custom reports because I think this is like a really, really neat piece of this program. And it's something more than a normal report because it is truly interactive throughout the system. I actually clicked. Make sure I'm going into the right system. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here and let's do a commitment detail by cost codes. All right. Everybody's seen kind of a commitment detail report. Let me run this one. Now, what you're going to notice when I'm running this one is it's going to seem like it takes a little bit longer. And it does. And the more information that's there, it might take even a little bit longer. I'm not talking unbelievable amounts of time because it's newer technology, new database structures, right? But I can pick projects, things like that I want. I'm going to just let it run on everything in my system. And it's going to go out and it's going to pull all this information into the system. And when it does this, you're going to understand why specifically it takes a little longer to run. So here's the report. You probably noticed there's more than black and white on this. I could drill down from here and go into the job. I could drill down from here and go into the vendor. I could drill down from here and go into the commitment. I could drill down into either one of these and go directly into the invoice. That's one reason it took longer. Secondly, it is truly interactive. Hey, this is really cool, but could we do this by the vendor? Yeah, sure. Just come right here and drag vendor to the beginning. It's going to redo the whole report, and now it's by vendor, then job, then all the information. This ability isn't out there in other programs. We are able to get you the information in a way that you want, that quickly, that easily, without writing 20 different reports. It really gives you a better advantage and more time savings. Coming back out, because I'm going to slowly run out of, or quickly run out of time here. I want to go over and talk about a couple other things that I think you guys will be interested in. Number one, around cash management, checking. I'm just going to open this up in edit mode so I can explain some things to you real quick. This is where we go set up our bank accounts, you know, tell it what GL account and what company it's for, all that good stuff. If you are currently using multiple bank accounts, and maybe you are using a created check, print boss, one of those types of things, you don't have to do that. Intact has it built into the system. If you want to use blank check stock and have us print all the information on the check, we can do it. So you don't have to have it all with your logos and everything on it. We can do it right from the system. Here, I can do ACH payments directly out of the system. It will literally create the ACH file to send to the bank. And that's not just, ACH files is a very specific file. This has just been completed. We've always been able to create different files to send to the banks and talk to the banks. This ACH file was an added feature, and it just got done like 2 releases ago to be able to do this properly. So we can do that. And if you do the ACH payments, if you want to turn that on for some of your vendors, things like that, you want to get paperless, great. When you actually do that ACH payment to the vendor, the system will notify the vendor that you sent in an ACH payment, you know, with whatever you want on that notification. These are the invoices we paid or whatever it is. We also have the ability to link to your bank accounts. It will download your cleared transactions and auto match them using rules inside the system so that you're always clearing, you're always up to date. It's real-time information. It gives you that information. And another piece of that is when you go in to do a reconciliation in your system, most of this will be done. I have sample data. So when I come in and I do this and we start our reconciliation, you see I have Intact there. In a second, it's going to say bank. It's going to show me everything that wasn't matched inside of Intact and everything that came from the bank that's not matched. And I don't have to go in and out of my reconciliation. I can do it all from here. I can go in and say, oh, I know what that is, match it. It'll show me everything that's not matched, and I click off the things that it matches. I can go in here and I can say, oh, I know what that is. That's just our, that's just a fee. Great, go in here and say, it's a service charge. It'll create the service charge from right here. Save, done. Oh, I know what this is. This is a manual check. We send somebody with a check to a permit office. Great, come in here and say it's a, sorry, that was a receipt, so we don't want to do that. Check or debit, this one will do it. So we can go in here and say this is a manual payment. So I am clearing things on the fly from here, or I'm even creating transactions to clear them. And yes, we can do journal transactions that hit the bank account because they'll show up here also. Or if I want to, I could do it from right here. So everything is intertwined. You're not seeing me do things like, you know, if I go in and I look at AP or anywhere in this system, there's nothing here that says post. Everything is real time. When you go run a report, when you're looking at a dashboard, those are real numbers. And since the bank's clearing things automatically, you're even real time on whether or not things have cleared. It's an always closing philosophy. You're getting information, it's always up to date, making you more productive and actually giving you better analytics to make the right decisions. Just one more thing, or a couple things I want to show you here real quick. General ledger, all right? We have the ability to do statistical journal entries. What are those? It's a way that I'm going to be able to put non-financial information into the system and then use it in financial reporting. Number of jobs, square footage of all my jobs, number of employees, whatever it is. And then be able to pull that into a financial statement and take the revenue and divide it by that and say, this is how much it is per employee. You know, whatever it is you want to do. We have the ability to do user-defined journals, recurring journals, adjusting entries. I'm pausing there because most people do an adjusting entry through a journal entry. It is a separate piece and intact. The reason it's a separate piece is because it has functionality. I can close my periods so nobody else can post anything into them ever. I do not have to reopen them to do an adjusting entry. It will push it into the closed period and roll everything forward. So if you've ever had an issue with that, if you've ever gone, well, I can't close that period yet because I got to do this, no, keep going. You're going to be more productive. Now, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go into financial reports. The reason I want to come here is really to kind of give you a better understanding around dimensions. Because when I come in here, first of all, out of the box, here is the library of financial statements. You get them all. There are 2 pages of them, plus a couple more. Out of the box, you get them. You come in here, you look at something, you say, what's that look like? And you look at it and say, oh yeah, I definitely want that in my system. Go ahead and hit install, it's yours. There's no cost, it's part of the program. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to build one. For those of you that have ever tried it in 100, well, you're already happy that I'm going to show you I can build one. And those of you that are in 300, you're just going to be happy because I know what you go through to build one in 300. Let's add one. And let's just do this quick P&L for you guys. So there's the end. P&L. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my rows, and it's asking me for my account groups. Account groups are the way we group all of our accounts together. Now, remember, first of all, with GL accounts, we're no longer going to have section GL accounts because we're tagging the company. It doesn't have to be part of the GL account. So you're going to have a lot less GL accounts if you're doing that today. But the account groups are just how we group those together. Assets, revenue, you can have unlimited ones grouping things together in your system. So normally I'd go in here and grab like revenue and stuff, but we'll cheat net income just to get most of those and pull them in. So right now I have a financial statement. I'm going to roll this back because it's sample data. Let's put it, let's go back in here like there, say that date. So we're going to run this and take a look at it. Here it is, as you can see. Now I want things like my account numbers, so I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to show you so much more right now. So first of all, account number, let's fix that. Well, it's real tough. You go right here and say that. That's done. Secondly, I am at the top level, and if you recall from earlier, the top level is an automated consolidated level. So that was a consolidated P&L. What if I want all my departments across the top? Well, if you've ever been in any of the fancier programs or anything else, which I have been in many of them, you create more columns and then you put formulas and things like that in those columns. Hope you get it right to bring in the right information into each column. Intact doesn't have to do that. We're dimensional. I already told you everything flows to the records everywhere. All I have to do is say, hey, do me a favor, break that out by department. And now it's by department. I could do that by any dimension I want. You want to come out here and say, hey, you ever wanted a P&L by job? Yeah. Let's see what that looks like. There's a P&L by job. There's each one of my jobs across the top, P&L. Now, obviously, there's not anything down here. It's only in this no job section because it's not hitting those accounts. It's hitting my cost of goods sold accounts. But I can do that with any of them. But there's another level to this, guys. Let me put this back on department and take a look here, just to remind everybody what it looks like. I have an X and Y axis. Here's my Y axis. So my X axis is what? The GL accounts. That transaction flowed all the way into that account. That means anything on that transaction project, vendor, customer, job, cost code. I can break that account out by now. So let's take a look at that. We're going to go back to our rows, and we're going to come right here, and let's say the revenue account. Instead of it being the accounts, I want to expand it by a dimension. Great. Show me each customer. Now, I didn't do that on the entire reports because that would just be a filter or a sort. That's what anybody can do with a field if they can get the field to here. So a dimension is something different than just a sort, because I can make this account do it that way and then come down to this account and make it do something completely different. Like maybe I want that one broken out by the jobs. And maybe I want to come down here and do all my expense accounts by vendor. Which, by the way, guys, there's not going to be any vendors there because we imported everything, but you're going to see anyway. So I'm going to come right here and I'm going to say, okay, let's preview this now. And I'm going to have things in both directions. So now it's going to be by department across the top, but when we look at the revenue account, it's going to break it out by the customers and division. Here's my project cost by project and division. Now you see down here, no vendor. Sorry about that, but there were no vendors. I'm getting this reporting the way I want, where I want it. This can then have conditions put on it, filters put on it, permissions, all of that good stuff. I could even go in here and say, hey, next steps, add this to a dashboard. Or maybe run this periodically and send it out to people. That easily. But because I can do what you just saw, right? And I could have come here, because I'm going to show you this right now. I could have come right here and said, hey, do this entire report by job, right? See how it just turned everything to job? Still the same exact report you just saw a second ago, except now it's just job and job and job and job, right? Let me show you what I can do. We'll go here and we'll cancel out of this. And I'm going to go right here and open this one. This is a financial report. It's called Project Overview. Now, in this project overview, I said, I don't even need to see the GL accounts. We're just going to roll it all up by dimension. Great. Which dimensions do you want to use? They are now the rows. So in this case, it's going to be the project. So I said, take that entire report, roll it up into a project. Now, because of the fact that we post everything into journals, and journals can be brought into financial statements, I can do this, where I can bring in the contract into a financial statement, because it is a journal. I can bring in the revisions, the approved changes, the contract total, because this is just add those columns together. I can bring in my budget, because yes, we can post that into the journal. I can bring in my gross profit, because that's just a calculation. I can bring in my total billings. Now, somebody asked me the other day, so I'm going to point this out. They said, well, if you're rolling everything up to the job, well, how does it know which to put in the total billings and total cost and everything else? Because in this column, I told it to only grab the revenue accounts. And in this column, I told it to only grab the cost accounts. And then we can come down here and we can do things like conditional highlighting. How hard is that, Jim? Let me show you. If it's less than 0, turn it red. I like more colors. If it's greater than, let's say, 8,000, we want to have multiple colors. We're going to do this one, turn it red, but I like blue. So we'll turn that one blue. And all of a sudden, I have a financial report that looks like this. That's a job cost report any day of the week. And it's based on financial data, which means I can do things like go over here and drill in GL. Cost of goods labor. That's one GL account. Scroll down a little bit further. There's cost of goods subcontract. And the transactions are all there. And we scroll down. And how did that transaction end up there? Because the job is right there and it's a dimension. That is what dimensional reporting can give you. And for anybody that is wondering around reports, yeah, they can all go out to Excel and they go out nice and pretty. Nothing overlaps. You're not going to have to do a lot of work if you send something out to sell, and it even sends out the formatting. Now with that, I'm going to open it up and see if maybe we have a few questions that I can answer from the group.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for your great presentation. Yeah, we can roll into the Q&A session. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A box and we will get to them shortly. But we will have a few and we'll get started with, does payroll work with Sage Intacct?
So Sage Intacct, one of the things I probably should have talked about with Intacct is a best of breed type platform. So Intacct does have a payroll. It is built off of Penta, and it's you can get it inside the system. But when I say best of breeds, Intacct was written in an open platform. So we are open APIs, and we can interface with many, many different programs. And actually, I think, Dave, didn't you have a couple of programs that work up there in Canada, the payrolls?
Yeah, in Canada, Sage Intacct will integrate with ADP, Paymate. There's also a payroll from Lumber that is in a couple of proof of concepts right now for Canadian customers as well. So there are multiple options.
Thank you. And these are true interfaces, guys. These aren't just touching the GL. These programs have the ability to push job costs. So they're pushing detailed job information to the job. It is true interfaces, and it's not double entry or anything. Everybody's talking to each other. If anybody's been around a program that maybe especially with 300 or even 100, maybe you've had, maybe you use Procore, and it requires a third party to interface, HH2. We don't have to do those kind of things anymore. It is direct read and write from the developers. So you have a much more stable platform around these solutions.
Awesome.
Oh, and
Thank you.
actually, if you don't mind, real quick, just to let you know, and I'm just going to type it in real quick. If you ever want to, you can go to marketplace.intacct.com. These are all the Sage authorized, meaning we guarantee none of these interfaces will break when we do updates. And you can find everything in here, and there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of programs that interface. We want you to have the product that you need, that makes sense to you. I mean, you might say, Jim, we use Ramp. We love it. Well, great, keep using it. It'll just push it right into Intacct. So it really is a nice solution.